Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be applications that you can apply to your life and a little more in depth about the chapter. So we are in Exodus 7 1 through 25. And it says that God made Moses a god in the sight of Pharaoh. And this was because Pharaoh saw himself as a god. So if Moses didn't seem to be like a god or seem to have power, then Pharaoh wouldn't have taken him seriously. So God was putting Moses on the same playing field as Pharaoh, so that instead of being underneath Pharaoh, he would be as one of his peers. He would be the same. But Pharaoh had to be able to see Moses in that light. So God used Moses to perform God's miracles. And we see that Pharaoh calls his wise men and his sorceries as well. But these were illusions and trickery. Some of them could have even been satanic and been from that kind of a power. But even with that, you have to realize that Satan can only mimic part of what God can do. Satan has no control over God. God has control over everything and everything that happens. And Satan can only do what God allows him to do. And if the wise men and the sorceries were really good at their job, they could have turned the blood back into water. But they were not able to do that. We will see that all they do is mimic. They mimic what Moses is doing. And there will be a point when they will no longer be able to mimic it. They'll just be in awe at the miracles that is being performed. And that's how Satan is. He can only mimic God for so long, and then he's left in the dust because he doesn't have that kind of control. He doesn't have that kind of power. He's very limited. And we see that Pharaoh's heart was hardened. And I would say today, there's lots of people that harden their heart because life hits hard. There's lots of trials, tribulations, and problems that come their way. And their heart just kind of becomes like a stone. The sad thing is as you try not to care about things in life because you're trying to be tough or harden yourself so that you don't show emotions or show weaknesses, reality is when you don't care long enough and you try to give a cold shoulder, eventually your heart will be as cold as a stone, which is very sad. And as we will see in time, God did show Pharaoh how great and how mighty he was. But Pharaoh would have to lose everything to realize who God is and the power that he has. And in our lives, if we have become really cold, if we have become that attitude of not caring about anything or anyone, we will see that God can reach us, but he's going to do it in his way and it's his timing. And it may cause a lot of heartache. And we also see that Satan will try to pull you away from godly things. And so you have to stand firm in your faith and what you believe in, or you'll be deceived and you'll be pulled away from God as well. And when things like that happens, when you can feel Satan attacking you or coming after you, or you feel like you have nothing left to give, then just say the words, Satan, get behind me. Because Satan cannot be in the presence of God. You have that power. God has given you that power. You have to believe in it, but God has given you that power. And also, just like Pharaoh asked for a miracle, I would say many times we want to see miracles in our lives. And God gives us the miracle of eternal life through our faith. That's something that Pharaoh could never obtain. And a lot of times when we're asking to see these big and amazing miracles, we lose sight of the small, subtle miracles that are happening all the time. The gentle breeze, a beautiful flower that just blooms out, the cry of a newborn baby, the laugh of a child. All of these are beautiful things and wonderful things that God gives to us. So don't take those for granted. Also, as far as the water turning to blood, this would have been called the Nile in Pharaoh. This in Egypt. This would have been their drinking source. This is their life source, and it was threatened. So Pharaoh had to be surprised at that. He had to be a little taken back, but his pride would not allow him to admit that. So the next chapter, we will find out what happens after the 7 days of the water being blood. May God be with you in everything and in every way.